everyone. Welcome back to our podcast today. Today we're going to be looking on K through 2 technology. So we got a very important topic here, and I'm also here with myself, Anthony.
And Kayla. Megan.
And Nicholas.
And yeah, today we're just going to be going around and spreading some knowledge across the table. So I'm going to start it off today. Remember, we are talking about K through 2 technology. And we're going to talk about how we've seen it used before in the gym class or just in school by itself. We've seen things like heart rate monitors, pedometers, timers, clocks. These are all great ways to incorporate technology in class. But also when you look outside of PE and regular classrooms, we things like smart boards, computers. Sometimes students use their phones. But yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff used in technology. Anyone else seen anything different?
Oh, with the pedometers, I think it's a really awesome idea to get kids to know like how many steps they're actually getting in a class period, because they are for K through 2 getting that 150 minutes a week, and you want that to be the moderate to vigorous physical activity. So seeing like how much their heart rate is and what their heart rate gets from their resting to like their sub-maximal is super important in the classroom.
I remember when I was in elementary school, I got a pedometer, and me and all of my classmates were just so excited to have like a new piece of equipment and like get familiarized with it. So I made my parents go out and buy me another one when I had to return it. So I liked it.
I remember that. I remember doing that back in elementary school too as well, especially when like we first got our first smart board. Like all the games we started playing on it or just using it and watching it. But yeah.
Pedometers are also great because you could start them in like that kindergarten. You can use them all throughout your life because smartwatches now have them, and even if it's just the simple pedometers or like a Fitbit, still has your steps on it.
They are also relatively cheap, so it's not going to take a big portion of your budget to supply them for a class of like 30 students.
See, that's something with technology too. A lot of pros and cons. And I did a little research on this before, and I came across this website. It was called bestbrains.com, and it was talking about overstimulation, which young kids also use in K through 2 using technology. It can be a lot for them, especially when it's to focus, all like lights coming, all sounds, and especially in a class full of 30 kids. It definitely could be hard for some, but also everybody learns different, and at that age, they're still learning a lot. So I feel like K through 2 technology, it can have a lot of pros and cons when it comes into the classroom.
Yeah, I think teachers just need to be mindful not to overdo the technology and make sure it's actually being used beneficially for their students and not overstimulating any of them.
Agreed.
All right, so now we're going to move on to AI in education and some different aspects of that. So AI in education can be used for like enhancing lesson plans, adaptations, and just virtual learning in the classroom. So AI is transforming the educational landscape, making teaching more efficient, more personalized for students, lesson planning and student adaptations to grading and immersive technologies like AR and VR. AI is reshaping how educators engage with students. So one of the most popular and significant ways AI is helping educators is with lesson planning. So tools such as ChatGPT, Khanmigo, that's by Khan Academy, and Google's Bard can generate lesson plans tailored to specific learning objectives that teachers create on their own, grade levels and student needs. These allow students to create, or teachers to create, structured and engaging lesson plans for students and make their own adjustments on the fly when looking at that if they use ChatGPT or any of these other tools. For example, a PE teacher leading maybe a first grade class on chasing or fleeing and dodging can use AI to generate a unit for a week that aligns with state standards. The AI can give warm-ups, main activities, cool downs, making sure students are engaged and like meeting their student learning objectives, their outcomes, whatever the teacher had aligned for them in their lesson plans. So it can also help with things like prompts, quizzes, a lot of videos you can use in class. AI can help find those. You don't have to necessarily go and search those up on your own on Google and YouTube. You can find appropriate ones based off of what you ask ChatGPT or any of these other websites. Referring to an article that I looked at through Forbes, it's called 5 Ways AI Can Help Enrich Your Child in Primary School. it was noted in that by Tor Constantino, who wrote the article. AI-driven lesson planning tools are making it easier for teachers to customize content for different learning styles, ensuring that students receive personalized instruction that keeps them engaged and improves comprehension. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you mentioned like the VR, and I think that's a really great way for kids, especially for like adaptive physical education. If being in a room is too stimulating, having that VR with them to be able to be in a more self-contained area. You also said like AI for adaptations, and that's really awesome for like lesson plans, making sure that you have modifications for every student. And even if you don't think of it yourself, maybe one that you find from Bard or ChatGPT can really help other students out.
I also, when you were talking about the ChatGPT and with the lesson plans, I think it goes hand in hand, because say kids give you some type of idea of what they want to do in gym class, and you want to see what type of options you can give them. ChatGPT is a great way to go and explore new games, new activities, and new ideas that you can find that the kids of your class are going to enjoy. But also, I feel like when making those lesson plans, you know your students the best as the educator. So I feel like, yes, you can use like ChatGPT, but I feel it's best when you work on some of it, and then you can use ChatGPT to build off your lesson plans to make one good lesson plan. So I like how AI is being used, but I feel like it can be used very well if used in the right way.
Yeah, no, I get that. So now moving on to adaptations and modifications. That was all just basically the lesson planning. So AI has been very instrumental in making the lessons accessible for different learners, students with different capabilities, people with different languages even. Everybody's very individualized with their learning needs, which is why AI is coming very in handy with learning nowadays. But AI-driven apps like FitQuest, PE Universe, these are two popular ones, suggest modified activities for students with physical limitations or different capabilities, ensuring inclusive participation in movement-based learning. Additionally, AI programs like Otter.ai, they transcribe lectures in real time, so that's one way to make the AI technology useful for students who need that extra assistance in class. Maybe they can't follow along as easily, they can't write their notes down as quickly, so transcriptions for lectures are very helpful in a lot of cases. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Text-to-speech functions, adaptive assessments, AI-generated practice exercises, a lot of different websites, a lot of different technologies to use. AI has also been very helpful in grading and assessment too, because grading is very time-consuming for teachers. But AI is kind of streamlining the process, making it quicker, a little more accurate. Teachers do probably need to look over their assessments and grading after AI does it, just to like a double check to make sure, because AI is not 100%. It still makes mistakes. But using ChatGPT, there's Turnitin. That's a good website that a lot of teachers use. I grew up using that a little bit. Gradescope is one that I haven't heard of. Something else is called Coach's Eye. They analyze students' sprinting form or other types of like forms for different basic movements. But there's a lot of things that the AI like nowadays can help with assessing in general. So again, going back to that Forbes article, 5 ways AI can help enrich your child in primary school. Referencing that, AI not only assists in grading, but also enhances assessments by identifying patterns in student responses and offering insights that can help educators adjust their teaching methods in real time.
Yeah.
If anybody has any thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, I like 2 points that you brought up, specifically the one about students who may speak a different language. Sometimes it can be hard if you don't speak their first language. It can be hard to communicate with them exactly what you want to do, but using like Google Translate or AI to say, hey, AI, this is my lesson plan. Give me resources to help support it in Spanish or in this language. I think that could be beneficial to students too, because now they know exactly what's being communicated to them better.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
you don't-
overall, AI is great, and I think it's going to make a big leap in the educational system, especially with the technology part.
It's constantly improving too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so AI can also be really good to help enhance parent and teacher collaboration in classrooms. Various digital tools and platforms can facilitate easier communication, streamline administrative tasks, and then help support the learning environment of young students. There's a bunch of different apps that can help us do this. One is Classroom Dojo. It's a platform that enables teachers to share student progress, classroom activities, and announcements with parents in real time. It also is a good classroom management app because on the teacher's end, you can go in and give students points for completing tasks. So if a student knows, oh, if I do this correctly or if I do this, I'll get a point, but the teacher also has the ability to take points away from students for misbehaving, not paying attention, talking over the teacher. So I think that could be a really good classroom management app that also does incorporate parents, as the parents can see the students' points too.
I used Classroom Dojo in some of my classes in high school, and it was really useful. And although it wasn't there while we were in your K through 2,
Yeah.
it's still a super useful resource that we will be able to use as teachers.
Yeah.
Another app, maybe you guys have used it. My teachers when I was in school used Remind a lot. It allows teachers to send text messages to parents or the students. So when I was in elementary school, my parents got the text messages, but it'd be, oh, Kayla, do you remember you have a quiz on this tomorrow? But when I was in high school and everything, it kind of switched over to going to my phone. So then I'd get texts from my teachers, oh, hey guys, remember this for tomorrow. And that was just really nice because once I got home, I got those reminders. And as a student, I kind of needed the reminders sometimes.
Yeah, agreed.
So then another one is Talking Points. This is a multilingual texting tool that can help facilitate communication across different language barriers by automatically translating messages between teachers and parents. And this would just promote inclusivity and engagement among different families and all the families you have in your class.
I mean, yeah, overall, especially with K through 2, with technology like that, for getting the parents involved, I think is very important at that age. So I think it's amazing how we have ways now that we can incorporate the parents with their kids' education. And I think those apps are just great ways to make sure their kid is up to date and making sure they're staying in check with all their schoolwork.
Yeah, so one other point that I got from parents.com was some teachers do feel like this is kind of overkill. Parents on parent.com have said, while they do recognize the benefits of these apps and this communication technique, some parents, specifically larger families who have a lot of students in school, it gives them anxiety always having those notifications come on their phone, not really knowing which of their students it's for, and just having a bunch of notifications kind of bothering them when if there is a real big issue, normally a school would call.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you guys feel about that, maybe as a potential parent one day?
So I have 3 siblings, and yeah, it's true when my parents would get a call from the school, it's which kid is it? So parents with a lot of kids, all the reminders, it's a lot. There's a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, so then one last classroom management technique that specifically younger grades I've seen incorporate on TikTok and stuff is the concept of a tattle phone, which is basically just an old landline telephone set on a desk, and it doesn't go anywhere, but it can either record what the students are saying or it's just an empty phone that doesn't do anything. But some teachers have incorporated this into their classroom to limit how many students come up to their desk to say, oh, Billy poked me with his pencil, Johnny did this to me. it's a way for the students to go straight to the Tattle phone, and especially with the recording function, the teacher can hear them all later in the day, and if it is a genuine concern that needs to be addressed, now the teacher knows and can address it with that student and then ignore the other, not meaningless, but the not as urgent tattles that come through.
I have also seen that, and it is like a way for kids to be able to express how they're feeling, but not interrupt the classroom structure. All right, and for
Get into our last topic of the day.
yeah, so our last
Close it off.
topic is more specifically on videos in like a physical education setting. So a lot of times that the videos are used as instant activities, and those are awesome right at the beginning because they could be used while you're taking attendance, or if you need to talk to some students about different topics during that time. It's a great way to have the conversation with the student while everyone else is still engaged. A lot of the videos that can be used are like brain breaks. Matthew Wood, Danny Go, PE with Mr. G, and Coach Corey Martin are awesome videos that I've seen used in the classrooms, especially for our first grade students during our placement. And the kids love it. Some are AI made, and other ones are just videos that people are there on the screen performing whatever exercise it is. Freeze dance is also a really fun activity to do with students right at the beginning of class to get them interested and like ready to perform in phys ed class. As well as like dance videos. Just Dance is awesome. I recently saw a video of people using Dance Dance Revolution. That's great. It's a little bit older, but it's super fun. And then also some like cultural dances, and that would help with some of our standards for like our standard 3 of SHAPE, identifies and participates in physical activities representing different cultures. Have you guys used any like videos in your classes during any of your placements or seen it be done?
Yes, so I mean we're 4 years into our education, so I know we've all seen it in the classroom. When me and my group that were teaching in one of the schools, we had a little projector, and for a great instant activity, or we even did it as a closure, we would find a little dancing video. It was K through 2. I think it was second graders, and we'd throw a projector up on the wall, and right before we were about to leave, we'd have them all find their spots, and we'd have a little dance party, and the kids loved it. It was a great way to like cool them down, bring them into their spots because they were all excited to do it. And even just like videos, like instructional videos, the students just seeing creative stuff and like bringing their minds alive at that young age is just a great way to get them ready to participate in class. So I think the videos, the dance videos are just perfect for that age.
Especially as an instant activity, we have a lot of young kids coming into PE with a lot of energy, and they're excited to come into PE to kind of be able to finally release that energy in their day. So having an instant activity where it's a dancing video and they don't have to sit in a spot for a second and then warm up and then do this, it's just a good way to, I'm in PE, I'm immediately moving, and I think that's really good for some kids who have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I agree. Another way that videos are used in classes, like QR codes. So if students, like at stations, they forget what the station is, they can use a QR code, because sometimes like physical visual aids are a little bit hard to understand, but the video you can see exactly what you're supposed to do. And for some great resources, there's Open Physical Education. So they have tons of videos. They have like a breathing and meditation videos for K through 2. Rhythm Fit, which is like a bucket and sticks, and it's a dance rhythm. And there's also like field day videos, and then Plug and Play, where teachers can use that as like planning activities. So there's some great parts of videos, as we mentioned. It's a great time to take attendance. Kids are excited to see like different people that are not just like the teacher. But the cons is that it is more screen time for the students, and they do spend a lot of times with screens during their day.
Yeah, I mean, what we've learned here today, I think, through all our topics is the pros and the cons, what technology brings, especially with this K through 2 age group, all the positives it brings, all the negatives it can bring. But I mean, overall, I think we've seen a big jump with technology, and I think it's really helping out that young age. If you guys agree with me.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to keep our kids growing and getting ready to go into those higher grades and, experience the real world. But overall, yes, this is our podcast today on K-2 technology. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Remember, if you have anything, you can comment it below. I mean, yeah, anything else here?
We'll see you in the next episode.
Yes, you will.
Bye.
Later.